Hello students, in this video lecture series of biology, today here in this lecture we will discuss about the component of a cell. Inside the cell, there are components, the structures that helps the cells to perform and carry out its function, or we can say that helps the cells to survive. So the structures which helps the cells to carry out its complex cellular activities in most efficient and organized manner is called a cell organelles. So we will discuss about the cell organelles, the components present inside the cell that helps the cells to perform all its important activities for its survival. That's called cell organelles. Student, you can compare the cell organelles with the organs inside our bodies. We have a number of organs like heart or lungs or kidneys. So different type of organs are there. So all these organs perform different functions efficiently to help us survive. Just like that, cells, as you know, cells is also living. So why the cells is living? Because inside the cell, like we have organ, the cells have organelles, the components that helps cells perform all its important functions and help them survive. So those components, those small structures which is present inside the cell and helps the cells to perform all its functions and help cells survive, those small structures are called cell organelles. Students, some of the important cell organelles present inside the cells are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, mitochondria, plastids and vacuoles. So we have 6 important organelles present inside the cells. So let's discuss about this cell organelles in brief. Endoplasmic reticulum. This is one of the important component, or we can say the organelles present inside the cell, which is actually the network of membrane bound tubes and sheets. It's a network of membrane bound tubes. Now membrane bound means you can compare, you have a tube, say suppose you have a tube, this tube is covered, this tube is coated. That's what we mean by membrane bound. Like cell have a membrane called cell membrane. Just like that, this organelles also have a membrane which covers them, which surrounds them. That's what membrane bound tubes and sheets. So that's about the structure of an endoplasmic reticulum. They are the membrane bound network and sheets. And student, this membrane bound network and sheets helps in protein synthesis and also in the transportations of other materials inside the cells. So that's what the endoplasmic reticulum is. Now student, let's move on to another type of cell organelles, that's Golgi bodies. Let's talk about the structure of a Golgi bodies. What is this Golgi bodies? These structures are membrane bound vesicles. Now student, vesicles means it's a bag like structure, it's a sac, it's a bag like structure. So vesicles are the bag like structure. These are the bag like structure which are membrane bound. As I mentioned, cells have a membrane called a cell membrane or the plasma membrane. Just like that, this Golgi apparatus have a membrane cover around it. So vesicles, and that membrane bound vesicles helps in the formation of a lysosomes. One of the important functions of this Golgi apparatus is helps in the formation of a lysosomes. Lysosomes is another component inside the cell, organelles inside the cell. So in its formation, in the formation of a lysosomes, Golgi bodies has an important role to play. Now student, let's move on to the same lysosomes. What is this lysosomes? Student, lysosomes are the waste disposal systems of the cell. Now inside the cell, because of all its important activities, the wastes are generated. So all those wastes are dumped into a system, or we can say this is a dustbin of the cell. So all the waste generated is dumped into this disposal system, that's the lysosomes. That's one important function. Contains powerful digestive system, digestive enzymes. Student, this lysosomes have a very powerful digestive enzymes capable of breaking down all organic material. Not only organic material, this can digest. If any foreign body enters inside the cells, which may cause harm to the cells, this digestive enzyme, which is very powerful, can digest, can decompose, can kill those microbes and is disposed into this lysosomes. So that's the importance of this lysosomes, because the lysosomes contains this powerful digestive enzymes. When the cells uh, grows old because of wear and tear, this digestive enzymes can kill the cell itself. So that's why this lysosomes is also called a suicidal bag of the cell. Now students, you may be asked, name the suicidal bag of the cell. So here is a name given to the organelle called a lysosome. So lysosome is the suicidal bag of the cell. Next student, organelle is a mitochondria inside the cell. Mitochondria is also known as a powerhouse of the cell. You may be asked, what is a powerhouse of the cell? So powerhouse of the cell is a mitochondria. Powerhouse is one such place where energy is generated. So for the cells to perform all its important activities, all its important functions, cell needs the energy. Now, what is the source of the energy from where the cells obtain all its energy? That is the powerhouse of the cell, the mitochondria, or we can say the mitochondria provides all the energy to the different organelles. Next point, student. Energy is released by mitochondria in the form of a ATP. So now we know energy is produced by the powerhouse of the cell, that's a mitochondria, but energy is produced in the form of ATP. That's what? Adenosine triphosphate. Student, this is the acronym of the short form of adenosine triphosphate. This is how the energy is stored inside the cell. Next comes mitochondria is a strange student. We have a number of organelles inside the cells. Mitochondria is very strange, different than all other organelles. Different in what sense? Different in the sense that mitochondria have its own DNA and ribosomes. That makes it strange, that makes it special. So student, that's very important point. Mitochondria. Why the mitochondria is strange? The mitochondria is strange because they have their own DNA. Now DNA is again acronym. That's the short form of a deoxyribonucleic acid and ribosomes. So that's what makes mitochondria strange. Now student, let's move on to another type of organelle, that's the plastids. Now student, this plastid is one such organelle which is present in plant cells but absent in animal cells. Next, like mitochondria, plastid is also different than other organelles. That's because like mitochondria, plastid also have its own DNA and ribosomes. So the two organelles inside the cells having their own DNA and ribosomes are plastids and mitochondria. Plastid is one such organelle, student, that contains a component, a green pigment called a chlorophyll. So that helps plants perform photosynthesis. Next student comes vacuoles. Now storage sacs. Student, this vacuoles are the storage sacs. It's a bag, storing place we can say. So all the solid and the liquid content of the cell is stored inside this vacuoles. Solid and liquid content of the cell is stored inside the vacuoles. And next point, vacuoles are full of cell shape. Now student, remember, inside the cell we have liquid, the fluid part of the cell called the cytoplasm. Just like that, inside the vacuole there is a fluid part called a cell shape. Now this cell shape provides turgidity and rigidity. Turgidity and rigidity. Now turgidity and rigidity means makes it hard and stiff, or we can say the cells have its size tight and stiffness. That's because of the cell shape. That's what we mean by turgidity and rigidity. Turgidity and rigidity means hard and stiff, make it tight. You can imagine a student, turgidity and rigidity as something like, suppose you have a plastic bag filled with water. If the plastic bag is filled with water, so the plastic bag will be tight. That's what turgid and rigid. But suppose if you empty that plastic bag, it will lose its tightness. It will become flaccid. It will lose its turgidity and rigidity. So that turgidity and rigidity to the cell is provided by the cell shape. That's the liquid content present inside the vacuoles. Okay student, I hope you understood some of the important points related to the organelles present inside the cells. So with that, we end today's discussion. Thank you.